There are growing tensions this morning between China and Taiwan. Taiwan's government is on high alert as China just ended its third day of military drills near the island.
The action China is taking is said to be in response to recent meetings between the U.S. and Taiwanese officials. Joining us now with more is NBC News foreign correspondent Janis Mackey Frayer and NBC News Pentagon correspondent Courtney Kube. Courtney, I'm going to start with you. I know you're in Taiwan, and this morning the government there said it had detected 11 warships and 70 fighter jets to its east. What more do you know about what's going on with these drills and how things are?
So the drills, according to China, are over. So this is day 3 of this, and it's important to point out that those 70 warships and anywhere between 70 aircraft and anywhere between 9 and 11 warships, that's been consistent every single day since these exercises started on Saturday. And what's really critical here is what they were simulating. So the warships were simulating a naval blockade, essentially trying to cut off any traffic, naval traffic, coming in to the island or leaving. A significant act, and it could be considered an act of war if China were to actually do this. Again, this is just an exercise or a simulation. The aircraft, many of those 70 aircraft that were flying near Taiwan over the last 3 days, every single day, were actually crossing into Taiwanese airspace. It's not uncommon, but the sheer number of aircraft that were up there was concerning. But yesterday, one of the things that we saw China simulate was also very potentially escalatory. They simulated or practice strikes from air, land, and sea against Taiwan on the island and around it, including in one case, according to a graphic that was released by the Chinese Defense Ministry, even striking in Taipei, the capital city here. So the last several days have been extremely concerning. Taiwan has been watching these exercises, vowing to remain calm. But yesterday, they released a number of indications, including video, that they were carrying out their own readiness exercises, including showing their ability to care for air defense systems. So responding with calm, but showing that they have the ability to defend against an actual Chinese attack against the islands. And Clay,
Tension's really high right now.
Let's turn to Janis in Beijing. Janis, these drills are coming after China was very critical of U.S. meetings with Taiwan officials. Now, this morning, the U.S. sent a guided missile destroyer through part of the South China Sea. What's been the response from China to that?
Well, this destroyer sent by the U.S. was on a fairly routine freedom of navigation operations. These are operations that U.S. forces undertake at times to show that these are international waters and they have the right to transit them. China releasing a statement saying that it's a violation of China's, quote, indisputable sovereignty. They often take issue with these type of operations. What was unique about these drills over the past few days, though, is while they were not as expansive or intense as the drills around Taiwan last summer after Nancy Pelosi's visit, some of the language that was being used by Chinese military officials for the first time, talking about simulating encircling the island, precision strikes on key targets. We saw some of that language being amplified and to create this impression that there might be this huge, ominous march toward war, which, from all accounts, has not been the case. Beijing has been very deliberate in its response to that meeting between Tsai Ing-wen, Taiwan's president, and House Speaker McCarthy in Los Angeles last week. And Xi Jinping, in trying to position himself as a statesman, is also trying to have China portrayed as more of a diplomatic power. So it's why they waited until their high-profile visitors who were here in Beijing last week all left. And China is also looking at the longer game here, knowing that there are presidential elections in Taiwan next January, and they're hoping a mainland candidate or a mainland-friendly candidate will be returned to power. So they wanted to do this as a show of confidence, but also to not scare Taiwanese voters away.
And Courtney, I mean, Taiwan is at the center of all of this, yet the government does not appear to be intimidated by these Chinese drills. What exactly are they saying?
Yeah, that's right. We spoke with the foreign minister earlier today, and he said that China is not going to dictate who Taiwan is friends with, which is a similar statement to what we heard from Kevin McCarthy after the meetings last week in California. But we also heard today from a spokesperson for the Taiwanese Defense Ministry who said that they are just not going to back down. Here's what he had to say.
PLA's recent harassment with their assets has destabilized the region. This time, President Tsai's visit became their excuse to conduct exercises, and their actions have severely jeopardized the security of the surrounding region.
That's been a pretty consistent message from the Taiwanese government officials we've been talking to over the last several days. The argument that these sorts of drills are not only a threat to Taiwan, but to the region and even beyond there. Sinclair.
Really important reporting. Janis, Mackey, Frayer in Beijing, Courtney, Kube in Taiwan. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.